Hello, hello. Go right, no, right, go ahead. All right, yeah. All right. Anyways, I'm Let's Go Dragon here with Agent A2, and we will be casting this first game of Season 17 of the GRLCS split, and it is going to be IDS. Yeah, yes, 17. To be fair, we do three every year, so it's getting there. But yes, this is season 17 of the GRL split, and right now we're going to be casting this game between IDS versus the Wulfpack Mingos. How do you feel about these teams so far?
This split, we're gonna be doing all these casts are gonna be live. Obviously, it means people are gonna have less screen time overall, but we get to cast live, and that means that we will be have the opportunity to do what do you call it? Post game interviews. Very exciting stuff. In any case, we are getting into game one between these two teams, the IDS and the Wolfpack Mingos. There's already a lot of hype behind this matchup. The Wolfpack Mingos, of course, in name at least, the reigning champions over GRLCS Platinum Cap coming in from 2021, if I'm not mistaken. Is that correct?
That is correct. They managed to win out in that splits. We did have a couple teams that fall off. Most notably would be Reign of Kings. So there is a little bit of a tension there between Mingos and Reign of Kings. Since they didn't necessarily beat them, they still haven't beaten them when in terms of for like finals or playoff contentions. So hopefully this time around we'll see those two teams maybe duke it out when it comes for playoffs. But for now, we're going to be focusing on this game between ID Solaris and the Wolfpack Mingos. We're looking over at the draft phase already. Graves going to be picked up, Echo as well, and then Renekton, I'm assuming it's going to be the top lane. Graves probably jungle, but it could really go anywhere. Especially with this Garen being hovered right now, I'm probably going to be jungle.
Yeah, I'm interested to see. Renekton is kind of surprising. I feel like a lot of people have just sort of lost interest in playing that champion. It's ever since they just like destroyed his W, where he almost stuns himself with the animation longer than he stuns the target, right?
Mm-hmm.
Just because of how long it takes for him to like do the 3 hits with his big cleaver thing.
Yeah.
Garen and Caitlyn will be locked in on the side of IDS.
Yeah. It is pretty interesting, like you were talking about with Renekton. I mean, some upside is that he has like he doesn't or he can break shields entirely before the damage goes through, so that's of an upside, but it's not necessarily a big enough upside to want to play a champion like that, especially in a little bit of nowadays. But it's going to be an interesting draft scene that Renekton's going to be picked up. Caitlyn's going to be the bot laner, and to match that up, it looks like it's going to be Ophelia. So right now we're going straight into the second phase of bans with every lane pretty much covered. We or like equally matching. We see the possible junglers, and then the top laners, and then the ADCs. I wonder what we're going to be seeing for this next few bans here.
Yeah, Aphelios locked in. That's one of the priority ADs after what is the other one? Jinx, I think, is considered very good, and then Senna has been kind of a rising star on this patch.
Yeah, Senna's has definitely been on the come up recently, just because she got those small changes for a Q, but pretty substantial for the early game. It's like a 20% slow level 1, and then it scales even higher with your AD and AP. They're actually going to be nerfing that next patch where the slow is actually only 10%, so it's weaker early, but stronger later because it has a higher scaling for both AD and AP. Pretty interesting. But in any case, going to be banned away, so we're not going to be seeing it anyways. But for now, the bot lane to it, or for the last round of bans, it's going to be very bot lane targeted, seeing that we are left with the mid laner and supports. And Alistar is going to be the first one picked up here by the Wolfpack Mingos.
Yeah, I'm surprised to see a lot of priority on Alistar. Um, I don't know what I don't know. It's just not a champion I'm used to seeing super frequently. A lot of times, you see a lot of enchanters being played, and you also see as your primary like engage supports, people like to go for like these Nautilus, these Leona types.
Yeah, I do believe around like right now is just a really huge time for engaged supports, especially with the introduction of Even Shroud. It's really weird. I thought it was Ever Shroud for like the longest time. It's apparently Even Shroud. Super good support item because whenever you CC someone, they take 12% extra damage now, alongside of anyone else that's around them. So you get a huge group AoE CC that Alistar or Nautilus could really do pretty consistently. Suddenly your whole team's doing 12% extra damage to every member on the enemy team. So I believe that's why we're a little bit more into this engaged support meta, but it looks like Silas is going to be our last one picking up here for IDS.
Oh, Silas, that's an interesting one as well. Uh, Champ is pretty good. That he has some good ultimates to steal this game. Alistair ultimate is great for Silas to steal away. Echo ultimate is also quite good. And now they've just given him Malzahar ultimate with that last pickup. I guess they're just kind of hoping they can lock down the Silas long enough to take him down before he's able to steal that ultimate away and use it against them.
Yeah, it is a pretty solid idea to go for. There you go, just letting the teams know. Super interesting if they want to go for lockdowns. I like it personally for the idea of like we have a lot of picks over on Mingos. You're seeing Echo has good AOE CC. If he can plan it out correctly, Renekton great single target CC. Alistar has some pick potential with it in as well. So Malzahar just makes sense if we really want to focus down on the pick gameplay. There is some alternatives where it's like, oh, okay, well, there's a high value target over on ADS's or IDS's side. Um, Definitely want to lock them down for as long as we can during a fight. But we'll have to see how does Epstein do against a Malzahar, since there is a way actually to break Malzahar's his what it's not Malefic Vision, it's Nethergrass. His Nethergrass using the chains there, if you can buffer them correctly.
Yeah, just like you're throwing out the chains, right before he R's you, and then they land after he's already started channeling it, and you can interrupt it yourself that way. Aside from that, however, it's surprising. Graves has no way of interrupting the Nether Grasp, so if he ults someone like the Garen or the Nautilus or the Silas, the people who have ways of breaking it, then Caitlyn and Graves are gonna have some difficulty actually getting away, or sorry, saving their teammate who might be nether grasped.
Sorry about that. I was sneezing, so you can
Yeah,
run back
yeah,
on
no
stream.
problem.
But oh yeah, and then to answer Halos fans' comment in chat, why is TJ playing Renekton? It's because it's not actually TJ. It's
TJ's not playing actually.
yes, he is going to be played by Solus. According to them, it was a random they found one day playing with Maylands. So it's nice that they have someone fill in for themselves. TJ, I believe, couldn't play because I think he messaged me. He was like he has some like volleyball thing. In any case,
Uh,
hopefully in the future we'll be able to see him play some of these games. In any case, here we're going to be going with the best we can with the Mingos versus IDS. But now that we see a little bit of our team counts on both sides, what do you think each side really has in terms of like benefits over one another?
uh, I think so. If you asked me, I would say aside from the Renekton, which I think is kind of, I personally think it's just kind of a weird pick right now. I don't think the champion's particularly strong. But aside from that, I really like the team comp they put together. They have Aphelios who's just kind of hyper carry the game, and then all around him you have Alistair who can peel. You have Malzahar who can use his ultimate as a peel tool. He also contributes a lot of CC and damage, especially if you have Rylai's Crystal Scepter. You have
Mhm.
the Voidlings that are just kind of walking around slowing people, which is soft peel for the Aphelios as long as he's actually kiting and not just standing in one place over and over again. Renekton, you can stand there and just press W on anyone who gets close to your Aphelios later on as well. Aside from just being a solid frontliner alongside the Alistair, and Echo can kind of just be disruptive and dive into the backline. I kind of like the Mingos drafts surprisingly enough. Normally, the Wulfpack Mingos are known for kind of just picking whatever they feel like.
I can definitely attest to something like that. You get a little bit of a solo queue vibe where it doesn't mesh all together, but they're overall just mechanics, and then playing well with each other enough just kind of makes it works out, even if they have what they call a solo queue esque comp. But this is going to be playing with a couple subs and missing out a couple of people. Really, the only people from the original Mingos playing right now is going to be Chandler Clark and Gabe Kochki, since if you watch a scheduling stream, you would know that Adamsuki actually moved over to Lamppost, I believe, playing as their jungler. And then, of course, we have one sub in at the moment, being Solaris, being in the top lane here. Quite interesting as we get along here. We're spectating delay right now, so we still have a couple minutes to talk about all of this. And, well, I even though it's the first game of the series, who do you think out of all these teams? I know, like, we haven't seen a lot of them just yet. Even IDS, they have some returning members, but they aren't all returning players. Who do you have your hat in for the bucket as for what you think is a strong team at the moment?
Between these two,
Yeah, let's go with these two first, since this is
yeah.
the easiest one we can really go for.
I think it'll be. How do I want to? How would I describe it? Between these two teams, the Wulfpack Mingos are somewhat untested, considering right now they only have the bot lane from their roster from their championship roster from last season. Uh, as far as IDS goes, or sorry, as far as the Wolfpack Mingos go, we still have yet to see any actual performance out of Nick Swantek, Solus, or Tim Selwood. So this is kind of their chance to show what they've got in this first game of GRLCS. On the other side, on IDS, I remember this roster being quite good, even if they weren't able to pull it out at the very end. They're coming in with most of their roster intact. They're going to have a lot of consistency moving forward, and I don't know. I think this is a great match to show for the first week of GRLCS.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this could be a huge upset and maybe toss up, but put the throne, so to speak, up in the air for who can maybe take it for this upcoming split here in the Enforcer side of things.
Yeah,
Since
but you got to remember on the other side on the other conference, you've got Reign of Kings who are coming in with only one player changed out. They had an undefeated regular season, didn't they? Last season? No, they lost one. They lost one.
yeah.
I remember because I was in that game. uh, um,
Pure coincidence,
but
pure coincidence.
they were coming in as the number one seed from their conference. They dropped out of playoffs as the number one seed, which was quite unfortunate to see. But you gotta consider that they very well may have been able to win the whole thing had they had the opportunity to show their stuff. So they've definitely got to be contender in anyone's book.
Okay, it's not just me, but the scoreboard on the top is missing the tower symbols, right? The tower's taken.
Yes. I think that's been a spectator bug since the patch has dropped because I've been spectating other games and seen that happen
See,
as well.
unlucky.
Which is kind of yeah, it's kind of annoying, isn't it?
Yeah, but in any case, since we're in this first few minutes of not really doing too much because we're not going to be five stacking per se, well, do you want to introduce this blue side for us?
Yeah, sure. On the blue side, it is IDS with Gem Top in the top lane on Garen, OG Roach in the jungle on Graves, XDM on Silas in the mid lane, and in the bottom lane, you've got Zalp and Second Win on Caitlyn and Nautilus as Tim Selwood just lands a parallel convergence. XDM gonna go back in, and he actually gets ignited, so he's gonna have to run away. I don't think he wanted that to land. Trade Flash for Ignite, you'll take that every time.
Yeah, truly, you'll take Flash for Ignite every time, but for over on this red side here, we have the Wulfpack Mingos, starting off with Solus being in the top lane, playing in the Renekton Tim Selwood, who we saw manage to get that parallel convergence off, playing the Echo in the jungle mid lane. We got Swing Tech, which got the Malefic Visions, plus the Ignite, also trading out that flash there, playing the Malzahar in the mid lane. And in the bot lane, we have the classic Chandler Clark and Gabe Kochki playing the bot lane of Aphelios and Alistar here.
All right.
Yeah, all right, indeed. Not really too much to talk about. I mean, it's pretty. Even though we have engaged supports in the bot lane, overall, I don't really think we're going to be seeing too much action until we get to at least level 3 for all of these laners. Maybe a gank will happen whenever Roach or Tim Selwood hits level 2 or 3, but I don't expect we will be seeing too much of them, at least in this early game here.
Just a little bit of spinning here from Gem Top onto Soulless Beings. He hit that level 2 first.
Managed to hit level 2. Garen is... I would say Garen's a really good pick into Renekton. I know Renekton was picked first, so that means the Garen to counteract the Renekton pick is actually really good, just because I hate silences on champions, and Renekton is definitely a champion that doesn't like silences either, making a lot of these one-sided trades a lot more viable for him.
Understandably as well, Silas is getting shoved in under his tower by Nick Swantek. XDM, not having Flash has to play a little bit more safely anyway, and then as well, not able to push the waves. That's one of the downsides of Silas, even if you're Q-maxing. But here we go, all done. Gabe Kochki with a double knockup. Zalp has already flashed away. He's ignited himself with the rest of the parallel conversions behind. He's looking for something onto Zalp. We'll get the slow with the chrono... the Time Winder, rather. A second wind goes in for a root as OG Roach is here. They're in a 2v3. They're going to direct line in. Gabe Kochki, he's ignited. OG Roach gets the kill back. It's 1-for-1 so far on the bottom lane with both junglers showing up and the support on the side of the Wulfpack Mingos going down at the very end.
Yeah, pretty unfortunate. I mean, it's pretty good in terms of each side getting a kill, managing to get a kill. It goes to junglers. I guess the best thing is that, or a slight win is going to be for the Mingos, because they're able to, or the ADC stays alive, so that means he gets to keep on with the experience. He is a little bit behind on CS, but he doesn't miss out on any of the experience prior, so you have a little bit of EXP lead as opposed to Zalp here, so that is something to look forward to at least.
Gabe Kochki back down in the bottom lane off of a little bit of a vision adventure. Chandler Clark and Gabe Kochki looking to maybe get some more attention from Tim Selwood as he's still down on the bottom side of the map. Zalp and Second Wind are fairly shoved in. They're just continuing to land headshot and pelt over Peacemakers onto Chandler Clark through the minion wave.
And rightly so. I mean, Caitlyn has that range advantage most of the time while Chandler Clark's not using his rifle weapon. I forgot all the names for the Aphelios guns, but while he's not using the rifle weapon, he definitely has the range disadvantage, so you can so Zalp is probably looking to auto space a lot more, trying to make sure he takes advantage of that extra range he has. Similar to a range advantage, Nick Swantek is also taking advantage of that against Edstium. Hopefully he'll be able trying to get as much as he can before level 6 hits, and Edstium might have a little bit of upper hand when that does.
Yeah, in spite of that, however, XDM's been doing a really good job of keeping up and even ahead in terms of farm on the Silas, Nick Swantek, and Malzahar. I can attest to this because, you know, sometimes if you're not like actively trying, then it is kind of hard to see us, because a lot of times in the early levels, your Malefic Visions doesn't do quite enough damage to take it out, and the minions will just sort of kill them they'll basically just last hit the other minions, and you're kind of sad.
Definitely are sad, but for now.
Oh, but XDM is level 6 first, so now the spell shield is down, he's gonna steal away the Malzahar ultimate, and OG Roach is in the area, so XDM has flash, and he can just dash forward, press R, and now OG Roach is here for the assist, and the flash direct line from downtown from Second Wind! Great play from IDS!
That is an amazing play there, and Dr. Wiley, you said that at a bad time. You're asking, who do you think is going to win this game? And right now, XVII is doing a good job, but we'll have to see.
Yeah, a lot of damage going in onto Tim Selwood. Tim Selwood burned his flash in that bot lane gank, so a little bit scary for him. Now they're looking for a dive into Soulless Beings. Only level 5 Renekton. He's not level 6. He doesn't have the dominance. He'll go down as Gem Top throws down the big Judgment Sword with the help of OG Roach on the dive.
I gotta say, Mingos, or at least IDS, is coming out swinging here. Not necessarily Mingos are playing any like that badly. It's more so IDS is coming out the gate swinging with some of these engages, coordinating a 3-man top lane and a dive top, or 3-man mid lane, dive top lane. really nice at communicating on what they want to do, and it's really paying off for them so far.
Yeah, and honestly, I don't know how it happened, but somehow both of IDS's solo laners hit level 6 before the opposite number on the side of the Wulfpack Mingos, and you see, Nick Swantek didn't have level 6, XDM did, Gemtop had level 6, Solus did not, so they were able to get those really nice gank/dives off, and now Gemtop getting aggressed up by Solus Beings, but it's still— oh wow, he throws down the Dominus, Gemtop has to flash away, but OG Roach is now here. Solus Beings is still very healthy, and it's only level 5 Graves. I don't think they're going to be able to do this, especially without the Garen ultimate.
Don't think they will be able to, but we'll
Oh,
have
they're
to—
gonna try! He
Ooh!
gets flashed on! Gemtop gets soloed down by Solus Beings, and now OG Roach is in danger because he's only a level 5 Grace. Solus Beings full rage, but he doesn't take the he doesn't try to take the fight. XDM was on his way up as well, but a nice play from the top lane sub for the Wulfpack Mingos to get that one back. Nick Swantek taking down a plate. XDM will attach onto him with the chains, but it will be eaten by the spell shield.
Yeah, that was a really— so to note, for Solus being not going in on the Graves, you say you're level 5 Graves while you're level 7 Reneth, and you think, oh, I go on this 100% of the time. You can check on the minimap right here next to the river. There is a little ward that Nick Swaintek actually left. I believe it was Nick, it could have been Tim, I'm not exactly sure, but one of them left a little ward there, and it catches XDM rotating through that river there. So that means Solus Bean had a little bit of an idea of, well, oh, I shouldn't go in on this. He has backup on the way. Even if I can one-shot Roach, it doesn't— I won't be able to do it fast enough.
XDM was baiting Nick Swantek in, though. Here we go. He's gonna get Nether grasped up. Second win, not able to break it, and Nick Swantek will get a kill back just before dying.
Yeah, he will fall, but the kill goes over to second win there. It goes to a support, not someone you want to see the kill. You'll appreciate it because the little assist gold for XDM. But regardless, you're not going to be liking it as much as a 1-for-1 trade when Nick was able to get the kill on XDM, and maybe it shows a little fear over for XDM. Is like, hey, I can one-shot 2 with full combo, and I don't even have a full item yet. We'll have to see if that translates later.
A little bit of a misplay from XDM and Second Wind, allowing Nick Swantek to get a full channel off on the Nether Grasp and reset the Malefic Vision. Now Gabe Kochki gonna combo in on the Gemtop. Nick Swantek doesn't have his ultimate. They will get the stun off, and here's OG Roach. And Gabe Kochki, he's not a level 6 Alistair either! So he's gonna go down to the ultimate from OG Roach. Nick Swantek just throwing down a little bit more damage. Those Malefic Vision resets are doing work, but it's not enough to secure a kill by himself. And so, just losing their support on the roam.
Yeah, good collateral damage by OG Roach in order to get that kill onto Gabe Kochki. But it looks like we are looking to push this mid lane advantage just a little bit more. Summoning Rift Herald already for the mid lane. Making sure we can just— alright, we're going to secure this extra kills worth of gold. Oh, XDM.
Oh yeah, XDM and Solus Beings in a fight. He's stolen the Dominus, and they're just dominusing each other, but Nick Swantek coming around. He doesn't have enough damage to finish off Gemtop, just barely, and can't chase him any further. OG Roach and XDM in the area. Tim Selwood is skulking around in the enemy jungle looking for some greedy recalls, but everyone's playing it safe on the side of IDS. The Rift's Herald laid down by the Wulfpack Mingos, not quite enough to even up the gold discrepancy. They're down about 2k at this point in the game.
They are still down. That's just because of how well Roach is farming at the moment, as on top of having a couple extra kills underneath their belt. So it's just translating.
OG Roach in, immediately booted out, but that's a good combo in onto Gabe Kochki. He throws down his own ultimate. Chandler Clark throws down the ultimate as well. XDM is going to be able to retreat with the help of his team, and they will take down Gabe Kochki through the Unbreakable Will.
Yeah, unfortunate for the Wulfpack Mingos. Chandler Clark just not at that point where I feel there's just insane amounts of damage. But really good coordination coming out from ID Solaris in order to really make themselves known and rotating together as a team. XDM went down bot lane, Roach went down bot lane, and decided, alright, let's go ahead and execute on this. While Nick Swaintek, well, he's going to be able to maybe even get a first tower off of it. If he can get this first tower, I'd say that's actually kind of worth full kill for first tower gold. Definitely is going to be shifting gold and making that gap a lot closer here. It's only about a 1.2k difference now.
Yeah, Malzahar surprisingly good at taking towers. If you lay down the Voidlings after the mid tower has already targeted onto a cannon or a melee minion, they get to do a lot of damage before the tower actually starts targeting them and taking them down. So you take tower surprisingly quickly. One dragon has already been taken by the Wulfpack Mingos. Looks like they're trying to set up for the second one on the side of ID Solaris. They're already all kind of crowding around the area and getting ready to control with vision. Nick Swantek though going aggressive here. He silenced up XDM, throws down the Everfrost. He steals away the Nethergrasp and holds him in place so that OG Roach can finish the job. A rampage for the jungler of ID Solaris.
Yeah, real good.
Oh, and Zalp getting comboed in, but Chandler Clark steps onto a trap here. Tim Selwood is here. Drepsline gonna be connecting. OG Roach is here as well. Chandler Clark rises forward. Does he have the damage to take Zalp out? It looks like he does. Depth Charge comes out too slowly. He cleanses away. Second Wind pulls him back in with the Dredgeline. OG Roach is here. They've already taken down Tim Selwood. Gabe Kochki will follow as well. ID Solaris with 3 kills in the bottom lane for just the 1 on the side of the Wulfpack Mingos. Soulless Beings, though, is charging up his rage. He's going to go in for second win and get him, but right in front of OG Roach's face. Now he slice and dices away. OG Roach is trying to cut it out, but they're not going to get any more. He's just going to back away now.
I like that little bit of discipline. That's Soulless Being
Why
has.
so forward? He doesn't get the Ruthless Predator stun. Now XDM has stunned him up with the Everfrost. Gemtop now getting aggressed on by Nick Swantek. He throws down his ultimate and the Ignite, throws down as many Voidlings as he can. Doesn't get the Q reset on the Malefic Missions, and that'll mean Gemtop survives. The Dragon is secured by IDS, and Nick Swantek and Soulless Being can't do anything in retaliation.
Yeah, there was a lot of things happening there. Yeah, but overall, I can say this was a win by IDS. They managed to get a lot of it. Soulless Being did a good job holding back a little bit, made sure he got the guarantee kill on the second win before trying to go onto Roach, because he knows Roach is pretty strong right now. He's a full item ahead of him, or at least half an item, considering that Soulless Being has about half an item already. But in any case, you do want to be careful about who you pick your targets. He got a guarantee kill to help close a little bit of this gap, this gold lead. And managed to get out of there. He did burn Flash for a potential kill on Enstium, but nonetheless, it was a good attempt in order to try to make something happen further.
Yeah, I think Tim Selwood, no! Nice teleported in the wrong direction! XTM is here as well, but they have already killed Zalp. XTM steals away the ultimate, but there's not a lot that it does if you're not actually the Aphelios, but Gemtop is here. He's gonna get rooted up, booted out. Nick Swantek is here for the peel. XTM is there, but he's got Gabe Kochki. The spin is huge from Gemtop, just melting their health bars. IDS still come out on top.
That was pretty good for a little bit of trying to bait them into Nick Swantek, but unfortunately, Gemtop and XDM just do a little bit too much damage. They're a little too far ahead in order to try to really make something like a cheeky play like that work out as well as they want it to. I mean, XDM just has enough damage on top of Gemtop that is able to, not even finished with his Strikebreaker yet, able to do quite a bit of damage to the E plus the Iron Spike Whip combo.
Gabe Kochki booting Gemtop away from the tower. He's just trying to stall for it to yeah, well, it's gonna go down here. Gemtop is gonna be able to hit it. Now, Gabe Kochki is gonna try and stun him up so that Chandler Clark can come in. He does have a root, but OG Roach showing his face. That's a 603 Graves right now, so not the person you want to deal with unless you can just completely lock him down and take him out. That's what I guess what Nick Swantek's job is going to be. His spell shield is gonna get broken away by the smoke screen.
Is going to be broken up there. Mid lane is now going to be a little bit of A ramming, an NA ramming, where we're just going to be running down the mid lanes. Generally, you want to have your bot lanes here just because that's the fastest way in order to get farm. You are also closest to Raptors, and if you want, you can pull back a little bit, grab those wolves. Good sources of income without needing to actually go too far for it. While all the other laners are going to be in other lanes, we're seeing that the mid lane's actually moved over to the bot lane as well, so they're still getting sources of income. We're in a little bit of a lull now. We're slowing down the pace, but right now, IDS definitely has the advantage. Almost a 3k gold lead for themselves, doing quite well.
Actually broke the spell shield here. It looked like he definitely was trying to go in there. But now he's taken about half of his HP. He's gonna get Nethergrass under the tower. He'll trade Nethergrass, throws down the stopwatch, but he's taking a lot of damage. Dodges away from the Q, lands in an E. Next one's gonna get caught by the Everfrost. Doesn't the damage. It's a trade kill. He gets him with the Q just before going down. 1 for 1 in the bottom lane between the mid laners of these two teams.
Yeah, that was. Oh, that was quite close right there with Nick Swantek. I saw, like, you see the train of thoughts that each of them had. Nick Swantek managed to get his ulti down the Nethergraphs in order to get quite a bit of damage down, but he was in tower range, so he didn't want to stay there for too long. He wanted to move out, but he didn't realize that XVII also stole his the Nethergrass before the Nick Swantek's Nethergrass landed initially. So that means he was able to lock him down further under tower. Had to use the broken stopwatch at that time in order to stop taking damage from the Nethergrass little AoE on the ground, because that does percent match HP, as well as the little voidlings that were still attacking him because he was still affected by the malefic visions. So it's very interesting how it turned out in the end, but it looks like it is just going to be a 1-for-1 trade. Pretty similar power, even though they have different items, or different standings at where they're at with items.
Yeah, and XVII is definitely the stronger of the two champions right now. The reason that went evenly is because Nick Swantek invested both Ignite, and also XVII was already poked down to about 60% before they even started to, trade damage. So Nick Swantek's gonna have to be careful in the case that they get in a straight up 1-for-1 or 1v1. OG Roach throws down the smoke screen, blinds all of the Wulfpack Mingos. Good time for them to go in here. Gabe Kochki is gonna have his ultimate stolen away by XVII, so that's an Iron Will here. Solis being charging up the rage, looking for a stun, doesn't find it. And now they're going to have to back away here. Gem Top down to about 60% HP, but he will soon have that Garen regen. There's the Call of the Void being thrown down. Silenced up. Nautilus, second wind, looking for a way in as the Dragon has already been started up by the Wulfpack Mingos. Gem Top looking for something in. Second wind flashes in for the Depth Charge. Strength Lines in one more. Chandler Clark is getting his ultimate off as the Nethergrass is going down on the Gem Top. Gabe Kochki is just trying to stay alive and peel for his team. Solis B is gonna finally fall in the middle there. First kill of the fight, the Dragon's scared by IDS, but they're all just getting annihilated by Chandler Clark in the towers. Zalp is doing what damage he can, but he's getting eaten alive by the Voidling. Second wind very low. He's gonna get the summoner heal. Zalp is gonna be using it to run away. Chandler Clark flashes over the wall. He's gonna try and finish somebody up. OG Roach gets knocked up, and it will be a shutdown going over to Chandler Clark. Zalp on the run. Nick Swantek still moving forward. Second win, not gonna be in range, and it's gonna be a win for the Wulfpack Mingos.
Well played. That was so close to being a bad fight for the Wulfpack Mingos right there. Starting off, Tim Selwood and Solaris being both died very early on in that fight. They did manage to get pretty good damage off, but they didn't kill anyone yet. Until Nick Swantek, Chandler Clark were able to. They were low enough for in order for Nick Swantek and Chandler Clark to do enough damage. Get Kochi doing the best he can as the Alistar, provide enough CC, slow him down in order to get a lot of these kills. Chandler Clark, in the chat we see Dr. Raleigh saying was that Aphelios Q. He threw out a couple, did miss out. It was a little.
Nick Swantek found by XDM, but the E is eaten by the spell shield. He's taking a lot of damage. The Nethergrass, he's gonna trade Nethergrass in here. No, but the Q from Nick Swantek is perfectly timed to interrupt the stolen Nethergrass as well as finish off that kill. Nick Swantek actually comes out on top with that one.
Yeah, okay. I gotta say, these mid laners have the mechanical prowess is so well done. Ezreal, he drew down his Q before he went ahead and Nethergrass Nick, before Nick was able to get Nethergrass down, because it killed all of the little voidlings, so then he wasn't taking extra damage while that whole Nethergrass was going down. And as well for Nick, he managed to get his Q off before actually finishing, or before Ezreal was able to get that Nethergrass in. So that means he wasn't able to get that full damage on it, but it looks like Roach is in the bottom lane.
Collateral damage was used to interrupt the Malzahar recall, but now he's going to be able to get his recall up, and the jungler is shown in the bottom lane. It's going to be started up by the Wulfpack Mingos, but they're not taking it particularly quickly. They're going to know. Second Wind is on his way in. A teleport coming in from Gem Top to try and interrupt this one. They're going to back out here as best they can. Second Wind looking to see if he can get the engage on a weakened Wulfpack Mingos, but they will be able to disengage appropriately. A little bit of a scare there for IDS, but surprisingly the Wulfpack Mingos taking it very slowly without their Malzahar.
And I like that. They need to play a little bit slowly. They're playing with, so far, a little bit of a carry.
Oh, Nick Swantek a little bit isolated here. He's going to get silenced up, slowed by the Stride Breaker, and it's just annihilated! Gabe Kochki and Tim Selwood now in a bad spot. Gabe Kochki boots out. OG Roach is now Soulless is going to stun up Gem Top, so Chandler Clark can try and do what damage he can. He's got the roots, but the traps are cutting off that corridor, and they're going to have to back away. They just lose their mid laner.
Yeah, and that is going to be that. An easy pick for IDS. A really good pick for them. Just a really good job of the positioning wise. They all positioned around the mid lane where it just happened that Swing Tech was walking over a couple wards. He didn't realize that. He was in the open, so that means they was easy to collapse on. And from that, it's really hard to get away from a Garen when you're playing an immobile mage such as
Depth charge has been used onto Tim Selwood. He's going to get knocked up, but not a lot of follow-up here. Chandler Clark just trying to stay a safe distance, but they're going to lose Gabe Kochki a little bit too far forward. The team wasn't able to really capitalize on him being a tank. And now the Baron is still being aggroed up by IDS here. They're going to see if they can sneak this one away under the noses of the Wulfpack Mingos. They know it's happening, but will they be able to even get in there? XDM does have the Echo ultimate available. He's going to get stunned up, throws down the Everfrost, breaks up Nix1Tech's shield. But they're going to back away on this one. Too much potential damage coming up from Malzahar against a Baron weakened team.
Yeah, you know what? I think this is just reminding me of how much objective play they're doing, like forcing out some of
Second
these
wind looking for him. Tim Selwood gonna get rooted up. XDM is in there. Nix1Tech instantly flashes away to safety. Nethergrass gonna be used. Collateral damage takes out Soulless, but they will get one back. Second wind has already gone down. Nix1Tech gets the first kill of the fight. It's a double kill as he takes out Gemtop as well with them. Just a tank shredding power of Balthar. XDM gets in there, finally shuts down Nix1Tech. Zop kiting away. Gabe Kochki is still alive. Chandler Clark. Ace in the hole gonna be channeled. Not gonna be enough to finish off the Alistair. OG Roach there. They're very low health bars on both sides.
I think Plen in the chat says it really well. Okay. All hands players. I mean, these guys have really good mechanics, and even though you say no brain, I feel like some of it is some of this is actually pretty interesting when you're looking at it. They're not just dancing around the objectives as we've seen in previous splits. There's always this sort of dance that a lot of players like to do, where we're just hovering around the objectives, seeing who makes the first move, but instead we're actually starting a lot of these objectives and forcing the other teams to make another move towards them.
Yeah, both of these teams really want this dragon. Wulfpack Mingos immediately ran to it. They teleported in XDM to try and contest this one. XDM's on the good flank here, potentially. Tim Selwood is just focusing onto the dragon. It's going to be secured by the Wulfpack Mingos, and now Gemtop going to get knocked up. Chandler Clark just trying to auto as best he can. Depth charge is going to be used onto him. XDM goes in. They get a kill onto the jungler. He's not able to chrono break because it's not off cooldown. There's a collateral damage, does some good damage. Chandler Clark throws on the ultimate, and now OG Roach flashed away from, and Gabe Kochki gets in, and XDM falls. Now the grass is going to be used on the OG Roach. He doesn't have enough damage, but it's not going to matter because he's a tanky Malzahar with that demonic embrace. Zalp flashes away, uses the Gale Force, but it's a double kill for the Malzahar. 3-4 for 1 in favor of the Wulfpack Mingos, plus the dragon secured.
Yeah, that is such an interesting game we have on our hands. Mingos managed to pull it out. They're still under in gold. It's still under overall, just because we still have some people that are just really strong still and farming really well. Top laner, like we're seeing CS advantages in top.
OG Roach gets in on the Nix1Tech. He throws down the smoke screen, breaks away the shield. Does he? He's getting slowed up by the Rylai's Crystal Scepter, and Nix1Tech effectively kiting away the Graves. He's going to try and interrupt that recall as well, and so annoying. But this 3-item spike for the Malzahar is just so much power, so much utility. Demonic Embrace gives you some tankiness. The Rylai's Crystal Scepter and the Leandrius are giving you a lot of burn damage. And now Gemtop might be caught here. His Soulless Being is going to stun him up. He's going to get taken down. That's a lot of damage. Gemtop actually flashing away, is still alive for the time being, but he's got nowhere to go. He's just stalling out. And now I'm not sure what's gonna happen here. He does have the Unleashed Teleport if he wants to try and sneakily teleport away, but it's definitely not gonna work at this point. They will get him eventually. There we go.
Yeah, there we go. He managed to get him down, but it does create a substantial distraction. Zalp was able to safely farm the bot lane, trying to build up or recover some of the CS deficit that we are seeing in the bot lane here. Managed to even get the tower, which is pretty nice. But now Mingos is on the Baron play. It's a pretty nice look. We have 3 control wards. We're really making sure no one knows that we're taking this Baron. IDS might have an idea, and they decide, you know what, let's just push down mid lane. They're probably going for this Baron play, and we want to go as far as we can, so that means Solaris is going to come out. But regardless, it's a pretty good trade, I gotta say. Pretty good trade.
Yeah. The Baron finally taken up, and now Soulless Beings actually with the Dominus active is just trying to get a flank off, but he's not going to find anything, so the ultimate used up by Renekton there, not really to much effect.
Yeah, not too much.
They will make their way out with an inhibitor for the Baron, so not too bad on the side of IDS. I think they made the conscious decision to trade those objectives.
Yeah, still a really good idea in order to do that. You saw they were top lane, and then they disappeared off the map for more than 30 seconds. They're probably not backing, so that means they're going for Baron. Let's go ahead and trade out the entire mid lane, including the inhibitor for that. And it was a really good play because now you have a little bit more friction in order to try to get a good siege off. You have to deal with super minions every wave now, which is a pretty solid idea. You managed to get a lot out of it, and you are able to stall them out a little bit longer if you guys are looking for an engage, if possible. You do have
XVII does have the Malzahar ultimate available. Gemtop looking for something onto Chandler Clark. Chandler Clark staying in a very safe distance far away from them. Nick Swantek just going to be using the Malefic Visions. It's basically just a what do you call it? A wave clear war right here. Both teams just like clearing each other's waves as soon as they approach.
Yeah, I mean, they have, for Wulfpack Mingos, they have Malzahar by himself, could clear out waves very well. And then Chandler Clark playing the Aphelios does a nice job at it as well when he had the flamethrower gun. As for IDS, Caitlyn can clear from a good range. Gemtop doesn't care about taking damage that much. He has the Strikebreaker E combo in order to clear out waves very well, so it makes it really hard for either team to really get close and add him. And I'll be interested to see if they want to go other lanes in order to make something happen.
XDM is looking for a Nethergrass before it expires away. He wants to make use of that ultimate while he has it. Nick Swantek throws down the Malefic Visions. He's going to Nethergrass up the jungler. That's going to be a stopwatch used here by Tim Selwood so we can Chrono Break immediately afterward. Gemtop, though, has found his way onto Chandler Clark in the backside. Seneca and Win finally goes down. His soul is just being a monster of a crocodile. But in the backside, Gemtop has annihilated the backline of the the Wulfpack Mingos, rather. XDM actually just runs in to die. But Zalp looking for something. Oh, but he gets hit by that Q. Nick Swantek doing a ton of damage right now, and he made his way out to safety. It's a 2 for 3 in favor of IDS.
And on top of just getting 3 people, that was 3 people who had Baron buff for another 45 seconds, and you effectively just stopped their entire push now. Moving over to this Drake, we're going to be putting you guys up to soul points. So ID Solaris, that is definitely a win in my books. You guys are pushing the game back. You're not letting Mingos get their way back at things, and closing a little bit of a gap for themselves and doing a pretty good job at it. But we still need to be careful. This is 4 items on his Malzahar. He is farming very well so far. Looking at everyone else in this game, the closest I'm seeing is the jungler over IDS's side. 3 items, 3.5 really, but still, that is quite the lead on items that he has against everyone else, and it's really showing in a lot of his damage.
Yeah, 2 QSSs on the side of ID Solaris, both top and jungle picking that item up. Actually quite good. He really doesn't have very good options as far as who he can Nethergrasp now. A lot of times you really don't mind Nethergrasping because tanks, because of the % max health damage that it does. As well as it just being really good source of peel for either yourself or the AD if they're the only one who's able to get pack onto you. So, removing that option is quite good, I think, on the side of ID Solaris. They're at soul point, like you mentioned. They have a win condition in the form of the Infernal Soul in the next 4 minutes or so. Baron is also coming up in about 2 minutes. Kind of scary situation for both these teams, as those objectives mean a lot at this point.
Yeah, and to answer Sleeping Giant in the chat, why is there top mid jungle difference? And thank you for Halo Fan really explaining that. But this is going to be not exactly all of the new rosters. Right now, we're actually having a sub top laner, but honestly, Reddit is not doing all that bad of a job at really getting in there and allowing room for Tim Selwood to try to get in there as well, and then having that peel for Gabe Kochki, letting him play a little bit more of this warden role, as Riot calls it, a little bit of the in-between of the fights. Stay near your backline to peel away any threats and let them do all the damage. So, in any case, this Wulfpack Mingos is looking pretty good for themselves, but IDS isn't going down without a fight. Jungler, look at OG Roach, he's doing an amazing job so far. XDM a little bit behind in CS. You guys pointed it out in chat for me. I didn't even notice, but he is a little bit behind, and because of that, he is showing up in his items difference right now. He could be at a little bit of a better spot for himself, where right now he is going to be falling a little bit behind. He still does a lot of damage to someone like Chandler Clark, but he needs to be careful because next Rain Tech opting in for this build, which is pretty typical, but with the changes to Demonic Embrace, where it gives you AP based on bonus HP, and the other items that you like to build also give you bonus HP. It's not. It's actually looking pretty good.
Yeah, I'm a fan. All right, Baron is on the table for both of these teams right now. Now, Second Wind looking for a way in, but Gabe Kochki is warding that off away. Dredgeline just barely doesn't connect, and Gabe Kochki was in a bit of a pickle there had that landed. He's able to really sprint out of there, honestly, with the boots of mobility there.
He got hit by that dredge line. I don't know what to say about the next fight because he has those mobility boots and he would be just too slow in order to try to go for an escape. That means his team had to force an engage, and they weren't really in a position
a lot
to
of damage
do that.
onto XDM there. Holy cow!
3-item Aphelios. The 3-item Aphelios there. Managed to get the IE, LDR, and the Gale Force. I think LDR is a pretty good item. Like, doing the math on it, I think LDR is like really good, even if teams are just slightly tankier than
Baron
you.
is actually going to go down pretty quickly with the double burn here from Malzahar actually doing DPS to it. XDM steals away the Malzahar ultimate. Oh, good stopwatch is really quick there. And now Gemtop is going to spin around there. So the Baron is still being focused on Ojiro's booted out, but he stole it anyway! IDS gets the Baron! Collateral damage does what damage he can. Second Wind is going to fall. Now Zalp and OG Roach are on the wrong side here. Gabe Kochki flash combos in onto OG Roach. Tim Selwood trying to get in there, but he doesn't do enough damage! I don't know what you're thinking! Sending only the Graves and the behind Echo to try and finish off this 9-1 Graves. He's just gonna annihilate you guys. He boots them away. Tim Selwood taking a lot of damage. Or Gabe Kochki rather. Now Solaris is gonna stun up Zalp. Chandler Clark gonna root him in place. Solaris gets the kill. 3-4-1, but the Baron over to the side of IDS.
Baron will go over to IDS, which, more importantly, rather than having Baron buff, what you're really more happy about is that Mingos don't have Baron buff. You managed to steal that away and get that faster recall. You can go ahead and try to defend past this inhibitor point. Mingos was already there in order to try to siege down that last inhibitor before moving over to this dragon. Everyone's spawning up here, but Zalp having such a delayed respawn timer
Nick Swantik might be in trouble here. Throws down the Voidlings to try and put something in between him. XDM is not quite going to land the chains, and now Soulless Beings is here to play frontline. Gemtop, though, has found his way onto Nick Swantik. He's going to be in a really bad spot. The Dragon does go over to the side of the Wulfpack Mingos, but they've already lost Soulless Beings, and Nick Swantik is on the run. Gemtop is looking for them to try and stop them from being able to get away here, but he's a little bit isolated. Nick Swantek very low, has no mana. Gemtop gonna get knocked up in the air by Gabe Kochki. Nick Swantek is able to blast on his way out to safety. Tim Selwood has already used the Chrono Break. XDM doesn't quite get an Everfrost, but he does slow up Gabe Kochki, but he's not gonna be the target. And that's gonna be the Wulfpack Mingos staving off that Dragon Soul from IDS. Now IDS have their chance to go for the push in onto the inhibitor. The inhib already taken up by the Wulfpack Mingos in the mid lane, but they're gonna answer back here.
And this is looking like a pretty good push because they still have Baron buff for another about minute and a half. They're looking to siege up this mid lane, even up the scores for objectives wise.
Oh, Nick Swantek might be too close! He gets Nether Grasp, but his ultimate stolen away. Gemtop is huge. He's doing a lot of damage. He's able to get out of there. The Death Charge goes in. Chandler Clark is down! Gabe Kochki gets a 2-man knockup, but there's no damage left. No Malzahar, no Aphelios. Soulless Beings is gonna go into the middle. He gets a big amount of healing, but it's not gonna be enough. Tim Selwood finally is able to take a XDM, but OG Roach gonna get booted out and instantly taken down. Ace in the hole finishes off Tim Selwood! Yes, with 4 members strong in a Baron buff wave, are gonna look to end the game here.
Yeah, and they have Baron buff minions, and 4 members still alive, just so barely alive. It looks like ID Solaris, you guys will take game 1 of this best of 3 series, and I am excited to see what else we have here. This is only game 1. We have a lot to go for.
Yeah, I'm really excited. In any case, we're going to take a short break so that we can get into that game number 2. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you all in just a few. Hello and welcome back to our coverage of the IDS versus Wulfpack Mingos series here in week 1 of the GRLCS split. First split of 2022. IDS on the blue side, once again, the Wulfpack Mingos opting to stay on the red side. They're gonna ban away that Garen. The Garen from Gemtop was a little bit too much to handle for the Wulfpack Mingos, and so they're going to take that off the table for us.
Yeah, honestly, that was a really good decision from IDS previously because they saw the Renekton initially picked up there. Garen is such a good counter for all those champions that rely on not a second mana, like their second resource bar being not mana. That means their cooldowns are just longer generally, and having a silence means that you can't use those abilities for even longer. That makes it really good for one-sided trades. And it looks like they're even going to looks like IDS is even going to ban out the Renekton as well. They don't want to deal with that issue if they don't have the response from having a Garen available for them. And then Mingos, or Wulfpack Mingos, finally ended it off with a Shen ban as well. Just something you want to see as since you don't have to worry about such an aggro threat anymore, you want to make sure that you don't let them have such easy weak side with air quotes.
Oh
Top lane as
man,
well.
but IDS are gonna get that Graves once again. If I'm not mistaken, didn't IDS first pick the Graves in game number 1 as well?
Yes, that is true. Graves was the first pick from the prior game as well. Uh, was pretty potent, as we saw. If it goes any way previously, it would be an Echo pick here, but I think actually the Echo was a little bit weak in comparatively to the Graves, so it looks like we might be hovering around this J4. We are going to be locking that in. Honestly, I like J4 pick a lot better.
Yeah, it's a little bit it is definitely more honestly, Jarvan's just a ball of stats, basically. That's kind of all he does. The Cataclysm is nice, it's a big point click, do a ton of damage to somebody, and then lock them in for a little while if they don't pick a lot of dashes on the side of IDS. Picking it so early, it's mostly gonna be it's probably just gonna end up being a big stat stick because IDS now has the option to pick away um pick up things that have dashes, or they could pick Syndra, which is a good target for Jarvan to lock down with that ultimate, as seeing as she does not have any dashes.
Yeah, they are still hovering over it, but Syndra honestly is a pretty good choice for a lot of damage. I'm not sure she could flex over into the bot lane, but more than likely will probably be in the mid lane facing against Victor. Has a little bit of good range and ability and mobility, not in the sense of dashes, but in the sense that you can cast while moving. So you can try dodging while you're trading against Victor, which you want to dodge his big Death Ray Laser E and get away from his gravity field as well. So pretty good choice, and going to be picking up lastly Ezreal, who does have a dash to get rid of away from Jarvan.
Yeah, and the Victor pickup for the Wolfpack Mingos, they banned Victor in game number 1 away from IDS, so now they have the opportunity to pick it up. Ornn going to be locked in for the Wolfpack Mingos, so this appears to be the entirety of their top side showing here on the side of IDS. They're going to pick up an AD carry instead. Now we're going to have the second round of bans coming out. Morgana and Lux were their bans in the second rotation in game number 1, so they may just take away those Snare Sisters from IDS once again. IDS, on the other hand, showing a lot of respect to the Aphelios picked up by Chandler Clark in game number 1 and how well he performed. Almost was able to carry that game, and he was doing quite well, but at the very end, it all just sort of fell apart for the Wolfpack Mingos. We'll see if they can hold it together this time.
Yeah, I like the Ornn pickup. Honestly, adds a little bit of late game prowess that they had. They had a good late game from the Aphelios, but once he died out in a fight, as well as the Malzahar, did a lot of damage as well. But once those two threats really died out in a fight, you lose out a lot of what your late game really represented. And having a Renekton on your team definitely falls off quite hard. So seeing those that Ornn being picked up as a late game assurance is going to be quite interesting. Now we're seeing a lot of bot lane picks because we're missing out on the
Yeah,
support from IDS and the ADC from the Mingos, as well as the support as well.
I would imagine Mingos want to pick up Jinx or something like that here because Aphelios and Caitlyn banned away from IDS. Lulu is going to be the pickup for Gabe Kochski in the support role. I would not be surprised to see something like a Jinx here. I think that Hyper Carry would do quite well here for the Wolfpack Mingos. IDS now having to pick up their support and presumably their top laner here. Dr. Mundo would be quite interesting here. Orn with the W not gonna be able to hit him quite as hard without retaliation thanks to the passive coming up from Dr. Mundo, and he is always as well just a hyper scaling tank. I kind of like it. I don't know why. I don't know if the champion's good or not, but every time I see it, it seems like it's good. So whatever. I think it's good.
Yeah, I think Dr. Mundo is a nice pickup against an Ornn. His Q is its percent current HP damage, which is good to poke down people, and it even returns a little bit of your health back whenever you do land them. As well as you have your passive in order to stop a lot of Ornn's short trading power. Ornn does a lot of good short trades. Dr. Mundo's passive is built to sustain through a lot of that. If you pick up for that
Oh.
as well, but it looks like the Vayne's gonna be picked up here. This is something we don't see too often here with the Chandler Clark. Uh, so I am going to be very interested to see how does the Vayne hyper carry. I mean we have Victor to do quite a bit of damage, but I mean we see Lulu as the support. It's going to be essentially going to be try to be a hyper carry Vayne here. It's going to be quite interesting to see how this goes. I like the response, but I'm not sure how applicable Vayne is as the tank killer. But maybe for something else.
Yeah, I think the vein is kind of nice here. It allows you to have a meaningful way of cutting through the Dr. Mundo. Jinx does a lot of damage, but you got to get that first kill for her to really take off in terms of being able to carry a team fight and especially melt through a Mundo. And when the Mundo is the only one you're allowed to hit because he's just in your face, Vayne is a pretty good pickup for that purpose, I think.
Yeah, that is true. It's going to be interesting because with Mundo's new passive about how he, essentially has a Malzahar spell shield, where he bought or he has a Malzahar spell shield in terms for like CC. It's going to be interesting how it will happen with Vayne Condemn, because you really have to prioritize it now. You have to, okay, I need to break his passive before I want to even think about trying to get him away from me using Vayne Condemn. You have Lulu help combo that. Maybe you hit the Condemn to break off his little bubble, and then you polymorph him for even better outcome out of that. But it's going to be quite interesting to see. It's going to be, honestly, with IDS picking up that Mundo, it's nice for lane, but I don't know how well it's going to feel in game when we go into mid game and late game against all the CC that can uh look to break your passive in multiple ways without needing to blow the big ones. Something like they all have like little CCs that can break it, without necessarily needing to worry about like Bane Condemn, Lulu's W. They all have one way or another to break it.
Huh. Yeah. Excuse me. Um, there is something that is of note that was pointed out in the chat. IDS don't really have a very reliable way of engaging. So you anticipate that Victor's going to be able to throw out lasers and just sort of slowly like force down lanes and objectives. And if IDS ever decide, hey, let's fight, we're gonna walk at them, and then Vayne is just gonna sort of walk backwards, and you're just gonna die while you're walking forwards. So yeah, Wulfpack Mingos again. I thought that their draft in game one was quite good. So again, I think the Wolfpack Mingos also don't have a bad draft this game either. So we'll see if they hold it together though for this game, or if IDS will take it in two.
We will have to see how that turned out here. Um, yeah, it's just really interesting to see how they actually play out this game. Because, like you said, they don't really have a good way of engaging for IDS. They do have a good way of kiting in a sense. Syndra and Ezreal, really good safe takes, do a lot of damage from a distance, while
Yeah, and
Vayne and
Janna
them,
with disengage.
yeah, John with disengage, while everyone else over on the Mingle side of things, they kind of have to get in your face. Vayne is one of those ADCs that doesn't have the greatest attack ranges. It's the default 550, or at least that's what I think default is for ADCs, 550. So you have to get a little bit closer if you actually want to try to take some damage. If you want to do how much the big damage chunks that Vayne and Victor can do, you have to kind of walk into the range of Ezreal and Syndra while the threats of the up closest ones, oh, it's 525 actually, so it's shorter than I thought it was. My bad. Thank you there, Tulsa, correcting me. And yeah, so it's even shorter, so you have a lot more. You have to walk in at a little bit even more. Um, so it's a little bit concerning, but we'll have to see how they actually play this out. Because maybe the engage is just strong enough where Vayne and Victor can get an easy lane to walk at the enemy, or maybe the engages aren't good enough, and you just kind of have to brunt the force of the poke that they have, the range advantages that they have, while in order to try to do your damage, in order to reciprocate some of these trades.
Uh, I am interested. This might be this might be a much slower game than last time because neither of these teams are particularly have a good way of getting onto the enemy. So if neither team wants to start a fight, then what do? You just sort of like look at each other, walk off to different lanes, try and macro play, end up NA ramming anyways.
Yeah. Sorry, I was just reading chat here with about ADC ranges. Yeah, I don't know. For some reason, I think 550 is the default range because you think because Ashe is like somewhere around 600. Some of the like shorter range, but does a lot more DPS up close is like Kaisa and Zaya is what I'm thinking of. I think even Shamira is at 520. It's either 525 or 550. I think she's also pretty short range too. But that's kind of my thinking whenever I think about ADC attack ranges. I don't even know which Sivers are, so I have no idea. Uh,
Yeah.
but yeah, I mean, just making conversation.
Whenever you say, I feel like default is a misleading term.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh,
Uh, yeah, it's pretty misleading. I was just like, I'm coming from playing. Okay, Sivir is 525. Yeah, but she's also a hyper carry up close too. So I don't know. Yeah, I guess
de-
default is a misleading term
yeah,
in
it's
the
like
essay.
okay, because like by default, if you call it default, then you have to like think. I think typical is probably a better term
Yeah,
than default. But it's kind of funny because when you say default, it makes me it kind of like gives me the image of like 80 carries fighting like yeah the default is X. I'm like no, that's just really long. If you're Sivir or something, you're like what are you talking about? That's
yeah.
like the longest thing in the universe.
True, and thank you, Hobbit Scout, for the raid. This is actually one of my buddies at university here, so say I just want to say hello. Thank you for the raid here, Monkey Raid. Yeah, we're into game two here. Spectre Relay just actually finished, so we'll be soon going into actual game and seeing game two of the series. Game one was
Kind of
huge.
a banger.
Yeah, it was a banger. So I'm ready to see game how this game two is going to turn out here. Uh, yeah. So let's see this happen. Yeah, we're now chat's just talking about attack ranges for a lot of G's champions, and I gotta
Yes,
say,
yes. No. I'm not talking about the ranges themselves. I'm just
yeah,
like I think what they're saying that you shouldn't that you can call it that. I'm just saying
yeah,
that the word default seems wrong to
yeah,
use
yeah,
and
yeah. Agreed. I think me saying default is probably a bad one to say. But in any case, we're jumping into game two here of the ID Solaris versus the Wulfpack Mingos game. We're on game two, and well, how about I introduce this blue side here to mix things up a little bit here. We have Gem top lane with the Dr. Mundo up there. OG Roach is going to be playing the Graves in the mid lane, or in the jungle. My
jungle.
bad. Sorry, I was looking at mid lane. Edstium's in the mid lane here playing Syndra, and in the bot lane we have Zalp and second win playing the Ezreal, and John actually bringing the new rune as well, first strike.
Yeah, and on the other side, it's the Wolfpack Mingos. Solus Beings as the sub top laner up there with the Ornn. Tim Selwood in the jungle on Jarvan the Fourth. Nick Swantek here in the mid lane on Victor, and in the bottom lane you got good old Chandler Clark and Gate Kochki on Lulu Vayne.
Yeah. And this is actually the reworked Lethal Temple as well, so I want to see how potent. I feel like it's going to be super good on Vayne. It's Conqueror, but for attack speed, and you get extra range when you match stack it. It sounds like a great idea. I know previously she would take like Halo Blades to get your short trades super potent. So I think this is a pretty
Uh-oh.
interesting idea.
Uh-oh. Bad
Oh,
face check here from Second Wind. Instantly has to flash away.
uh, Yeah, that is going to be quite good for the Wolfpack Wolfpack
Yeah, yeah,
Mingos.
I called
Yeah,
them that too.
yeah. The Wolfpack Mingos is definitely going to have a good knocking that away early on is going to be pretty good. That means you can't get hit by a Janna flashed up Q, which honestly sounds a little weak, but a quick knockup into an engage by either Roach or XDM hitting them with a knockup or a knockback with the scattered weak can be very potent. So getting that flash out away early means that you have to play a little bit carefully. And oh, I didn't even
Oh
notice
my god.
new glacial augment too.
Yeah, I was gonna say something about it because I'm kind of in love with that keystone, the way it works now. It's so cool. I just think it's really neat. The Howling Gale there, from long range and just spreading out the glacial augment little slow zones are, gosh, that looks annoying to deal with in lane.
Yeah, and honestly, I love the change to it. It makes it so it gives you a lot of utility to your team more than it did normally. Previously, it was just like, oh, I got slows for my team, so it made it harder for them to engage or leave my team's range. We get a little bit more say about what we do, but now with this new one, you do the same thing. You leave a slow field to emphasize that idea, and on top of that, they do less damage when they're in that field too. So
Only to your allies.
only
To your
to allies, not yourself. Then it would be a good solo lane.
Yeah, my
thing to
gosh,
get.
it would be. I think it would just be so broken if it worked on yourself as well.
Yeah, it's like a straight 12% or something like that. Damage reduction for allies though, and not for yourself. So still really good rune to take as a support, and I feel like in some cases you can still take it mid lane and just have that utility for your team later on.
Yeah, and I mean, like, even if you're not getting the damage reduction, the ability to lay down that slow field is going to be really obnoxious. Gem top here up in this top lane, Solus Being's having the wave pushing towards him, or sorry, away from him rather. Solus Being is pushing it in towards Gem top.
Yeah, pushing it into him. I think Mundo has a pretty good time when it comes to farming. He says that and he misses 2 minions immediately, but having both his Q and E in order to try to kill the minion wave without letting the tower kill too many of them without him does help out. So pushing this all in doesn't mean too much, but he does get a little bit of lane priority for his jungler,
Oh.
whatever that means in this early stages of the game.
Am I wrong, or did Zalp just -2 like in a row? Oh, Gem top taking a lot of damage here. He's already gotten his passive burn. Solo kill. Oh, Soulless Beings just sort of walks in and takes it. Gem top, I guess, had like, oh no, he flashed and still died. Oh no, that's so bad. Oh no.
Very unfortunate for Jim Top. Losing that flash, you have to be careful when you're playing the new Mundo. Even though he's, you get a couple new tricks, he still has a lot of the same flavor. Where you get hit, like it's gonna hurt, but you have a nice regen when it comes to later parts of the game. Your passive does take up current percentage of your HP, so that's just extra damage for your lane opponent until you pick up your little canisters. So it's going to be quite interesting whenever we go into later stages of the game where it does the ornaments beat out against the run at you and doesn't care what the rest of the team does, Mundo.
Nick Swantek getting stunned up and harassed a little bit by XDM, but both of these mid laners pretty low on mana here. Neither of them are going to have the damage necessary to kill one another at this point. Although, with OG Roach showing up here, he's done this gank already. There's a smoke screen thrown down. Nick Swantek just flashes early, goes ahead and gets himself to safety and kind of put down a little bit of damage onto OG Roach. This wave is in a really bad spot for him. He really I think he was trying to get the wave all the way into the tower so that he could recall, but then having to burn his flash already from OG Roach. Tim Selwood is in the area, but XDM is level 6. Ooh, good flash away from XDM to avoid getting knocked up by Tim Selwood, but no. Now Chandler collecting a little bit of damage. Zalp has already arcane shifted forward. Gabe Kochdu taking a little bit. He's gonna get knocked up, and there's the slow field. How annoying as Chandler Clark is just crawling his way towards that next minion that he wants to auto attack.
Very, very annoying indeed. But yeah, so it is quite interesting how in mid lane you gotta give a lot of respect to both XDM and Nick Swain for burning that flash early, but
Unleash
solo
power!
kill. Let's
Nick
go.
Swan. Well, we didn't see that one, but Nick Swantek just gets solo killed by XDM. One goes back the way of IDS, and now the Slowfield, Chandler Clark, and Gabe Kochki are not able to follow up on any of that. Soulless Beings now gonna look for Gem Top, is gonna just slam his head into the wall. Meanwhile, OG Roach soloing out that dragon underneath Tim Selwood's face. He did, that was not a misplay. He QE'd on purpose because he didn't want to go in. He was just trying to shove the wave, but Zalp and Second Wind holding the wave with their bodies. How annoying is this for the side of the Wulfpack Mingos?
Definitely a little annoying position for themselves, and Wulfpack Mingos are finding. Not exactly the best of situations now. Mid lane, for both sides, both don't have any summoner spells left to their names. But we'll have to see how that goes. While the bot lane has also in a little bit rougher situation. Zalp is just generating slowly some free money. It's not really going to pop off now, but First Strike, I very much believe it's going to be a mid-game rune where you just hit late game a little bit fast, or I'd say a good amount faster than your lane opponent, even if you're even on CS. It's another good revenue source or way to generate money when that comes up.
Yeah, so gold is just about dead even at this point. Gabe Kochki shields himself up as Zalp gonna put down some damage. Now Chandler Clark with the silver bolt is gonna do a ton onto Zalp in return. Zalp picking up the Tear of the Goddess and the Sheen, so he does have a little bit of a damage spike here as the Arcane shifts forward. There's the exhaust. OG Roach is here. He's gonna flash on the smoke screen. Big Howling Gale knocks up two. The Slowfield gonna be flashed away from. Are they gonna have the damage necessary? Here comes Tim Selwood on the bottom side as well. Collateral damage has already been invested, and now Tim Selwood, he's gonna be spotted out, so he's not gonna go for too much down here.
Yeah, not gonna be looking for too much here, but a good gank nonetheless coming out from IDS. They managed to get 3 summoner spells out of that, even though you see 2 burned for IDS. It's still a 1-up an advantage. And yes. Oh, actually, it was a 3-for-3 trade. 2 flashes, and then a heal for an exhaust. So.
Yeah.
So pretty even overall for that trade. And I mean, you kind of see the potency of the Glacial Augment. After they got knocked up, they had to flash out of it. It was a way too precarious of a situation in order to try to read out your flashes and have to walk away.
Okay.
As we continue on a little bit further into this game here, it's about 9 minutes in. Rift Herald has spawned up, so either team could really look to try to clear that.
Oh, this is a good angle from Tim Selwood. XDM is gonna no flash. He's gonna get cataclysmed, and it's Syndra with no flash. So you're dead. Sorry, buddy.
Unfortunate to see on that end, but really good job from Wulfpack Mingos, really communicating that, hey, this person still doesn't have flash. Let's punish her, try to get something out of it. I would like Tim Selwood to maybe go top lane and try to go for a little bit more, but I think he might be conceding a little bit since his top lane doesn't have, or conceding the Rift Herald potentially since his top lane doesn't have the priority in order to meet it, and also his mid lane had to back there as well. Instead, just going to go for a little safer jet of grabbing that bottom Rift Scuttle and securing a little bit extra gold for himself. I believe he might have a back for himself as well, which if he can get that off, could be a nice power spike, but he's just sitting a little bit kill bush, a little cheeky, a little cheesy. See how it goes.
Oh, this is a bad face check here from Second Wind. Gonna get knocked up by the Flag of Drag. Monsoon is gonna split him apart. The Summoner Heal comes out, but it's a lot of damage coming out from Chandler Clark. Condemn doesn't quite get him into the wall, but it does get him farther away from his tower. That'll be a kill. They're gonna try and hand it off onto Chandler Clark, and he'll be able to get it with that Silver Bolt proc.
Able to get that kill, and hey, another kill a kill for the ADC is something always welcome. I think kills translate to about like 15-ish minions, I believe. So getting that kill evens up a little bit of that gold score, and on top of that, putting on ADC means that he'll scale up a little bit faster. And as a Vayne who kind of can hyper carry when late game comes around, he'll need all the help he can, especially when it's against Zalp, who has that first strike, who will be building a lot of these items at a pretty fast rate once he gets a little bit more damage under his belt.
Yeah, Nick Swantek with the early pickup of the Crown of the Shattered Queen will have that nice little damage shield. You see how little damage that combo actually did onto him with the help of that damage reduction. Now OG Roach might be a little bit too close here. Cataclysm! He's gonna use the collateral damage to get out of there. The Chaos Storm has been thrown down. Tim Selwood gonna get caught by the Unleashed Power and almost goes down, but XDM flashing over the wall away from the enemy team. Now Zalp Arcane shifting away. Akatsuki gonna throw on like Little Lance and just keep himself away. Nobody went down in that little scuffle around the mid lane. Now Zalp just putting down a lot of damage. The Howling Gale gonna roar across. XDM gonna scatter the weak, stun up Nick Swantek as Roach is looking for potentially something down there. Glitter Lane's gonna slow up Second Wind, but Chandler Clark is too far away to be able to capitalize on it. And we're just gonna having a little bit of this tanks looking at each other game here.
A good old wet noodle fight in the top lane, while in the bot lane it looks like the Infernal Drake, the second Drake of the game, has been spawned here. It looks like, you know, now that I think about it, with the new addition of Drakes, I can't play my favorite game of guessing a coin flip anymore. Now it's
a lot of damage going in onto Gabe Kochki. He's gonna have to Wild Growth himself. True Shot Barrage nicely sidestepped by both bottom laners of the Wulfpack Mingos. Now Tim Selwood and OG Roach are both down here, but weakened Lulu with no ultimate. But Nick Swantek is gonna be here to turn the numbers, but they're not able to get anything too much ability of the IDS to back away. Chandler Clark and Gabe Kochki not in a good position to try and keep that fight going. Tim Selwood and OG Rich just trading a couple autos back onto each other. The Howling Gale going to be sidestepped here by Tim Selwood. He's going to try and protect that control ward, but it is going to finally go down. The Dragon is on the table. Chandler Clark is in a bad spot here, but he's going to be able to back away. Summoner Heal going to be used. There's the Mystic Shot, not quite going to connect with the Essence Flux. They're going to back away, and OG Roach going to start up the Dragon in favor of IDS, and it looks like it might be contested here as Tim Selwood going to get stunned up. Unleashed Power going to be used. Not enough damage to finish him off. And it will be IDS with 2 dragons to their name.
Yeah, that was a good zoning done by XDM there. Just like the most recent thing that really happened. Really good zoning. You want to make sure that Tim Selwood can't get anything done. He was looking for it. He was definitely around in the area. He could have technically just flagged, dragged, and smited in order to get that kill. Or for a 50-50 steal, I should say. But putting him that low made it really risky in order to try to look for that play. And now the Rift Herald being jumped in the mid lane means that we're going to keep looking for this gold lead. Or not the gold lead, but making up for a little bit of a deficit here. We're seeing about 900 gold deficit, which is not too much, but it's like it's a sheen that Zalp has acquired for himself, if you want to think about it like that.
Yeah, Soulless Being is going to try and secure the crab for himself. He will get it, and now Gem Top might be in a bad spot as Tim Selwood is here. Going to knock out, going to break the passive. There's the Cataclysm trapping him in, but he's taking a lot of damage. Tim Selwood is. Here's the ultimate call, the Forge God coming out. Tim Selwood just going to try and stay in range, just try and bait out Gem Top, but Gem Top is going to be able to walk out of this one for sure. Not enough damage coming out as Tim Selwood was forced away. Now Zalp and Gabe Kochki just trading damage in a second wind, looking for a Zephyr onto one of them. They're just backing away here. Not too much fighting, and this is kind of what we expected. Neither of these teams has particularly strong engaged tools outside of the Cataclysm and Call of Forge God, but they're only able to use it on like basically the top side because of how much disengage there is in the bottom side of the map on the side of IDS. Nick Swantek gonna get the Unleashed Power, but with that Crown of the Shattered Queen not being broken and beforehand, flash smoke screen in from OG Roach, and Nick Swantek will flash away respectfully. But yeah, you see, the Unleashed Power just kind of doesn't do any damage unless you break that crown first.
Crown is definitely a big one they need to worry about. Crown of the Shattered Queen is a nice defensive option for mages, and for someone that's like Victor, who does a lot of damage regardless of what his Memphis item is, like, he didn't really need Ludens whenever he was building it. It was just nice. It was extra burst damage, but as a control mage, Victor did quite well without it anyway, so building this Crown of Shattered Queen, cheaper than the Ludens and its alternatives, as well as giving you a comparable amount of AP, gives you movement speed, as well as a little bit AP, not as much as Everfrost does, but still a comparable amount considering that it's a pretty cheap price to get.
Honestly, I don't know how I feel about Crown of the Shattered Queen. It seems a bit annoying to deal with, but that just because I'm not a mage player now. The Howling Gale doesn't connect. Now Tim Selwood looking for something. He does not quite have the Cataclysm. a Flag and Drag knocks him out of the Monsoon, but with the Flash, Second Wind will be able to get back to the safety of his tower. Now, Tim Selwood gonna have the Flag and Drag back up soon, as well as the Cataclysm being available now. Now, Solus Beings and Gemtop get fighting at it, but now Solus Beings taking the lesser end of this one. Gemtop just reaching so much, he's flashing away. Gemtop not gonna go for the dive, but will successfully get that one. Flag and Drag interrupted by the Howling Gale. Nice job by Second Wind there.
I will be right back. I'm dog sitting for my sister right now, and dog is yeah. So
yeah, no problem, no problem.
Yep, be right back.
All right, they're going to back away here. Tim Selwood spent a lot of time down in that bottom lane, not really too much avail. Now, Solus Beings teleporting back up to that top lane to try and prevent it from going down, as he did see OG Roach showing his face on that ward, trying to get first tower in favor of IDS. Now Zalp aggressing in onto Chandler Clark. There's the exhaust. He's arcane shifting forward. Chandler Clark condemns him away. Now Howling Gale is going to come across. Now Gabe Kochki has shown his face back down here. Letterlands goes down. Nick Swantek, meanwhile, in the mid lane, is going to fight in onto XDM. Is going to zone him away from his own tower with the gravity field. Now here's Tim Selwood. The good Cataclysm. Second Wind doesn't have the flash, and he's going to get taken down. Chandler Clark with the kill. Tim Selwood tanking up the tower. Zalp is going to be able to arcane shift back out towards safety, and flash is used as well. They're going to be able to get some alone time with this tower. Now Nick Swantek with a sizable HP lead over XDM is going to try and put down some damage on that mid lane tower. First tower still on the board for both of these teams. Chandler Clark, Gabe Kochki, and Tim Selwood looks like they will be the ones who secure it for the side of the Wulfpack Mingos. And that will result in about a 2,000 gold lead in their favor. They're going to take a recall here. Dragon up in about 15 seconds, and they will be ready for that one on their way in. The Q actually doesn't quite interrupt Gemtop, but he'll break his own recall just to annoy Solus Beings a little bit more. Teleport available for Gemtop and not for Solus Beings, importantly. So this Dragon could be a point where that teleport changes the fight. They're all three members of the Wulfpack Mingos who just recalled are on their way down there now. And now if Gemtop gets into a position where he's able to turn the tables with the teleport, making it a 5v4, but OG Roach walking in under control ward, he's going to be able to dash away, but Tim Selwood is going to get in there very quickly, slows him up. Does he have enough damage to take him out? There's the Immortal Shield bow. Tim Selwood backs away back towards his team. Gemtop with the teleport is going to make it a 5v4. On his way down is Solus Beings with the just walking his way in there. The control wards here from IDS are going to be able to spot it. Here's the Call of the Forge God. He's going to knock up XDM. The gravity field is going to send him up, but a good 3-man scatter the weight from XDM. The Chaos Storm goes down. True Shot Brush flies across, only doing damage onto Solus Beings, but Nick Swantek very low and out of mana. He's going to have to recall here, surely. There's no real reason for you to stick around here, Nick Swantek, I don't think.
Yeah,
you gotta be very careful.
Yeah, I'm back. Sorry for that, but in any case, you were right. This is going to be such a slower paced game. We're only at 5 kills total, almost 20 minutes into the game. We're looking to take the third Drake so far, and it's a rough battle so far for both teams. Just playing a little bit of teetering back and forth. We're not doing as we did last game. We were really trying to force objectives. Right now, it's a little smart not to do that. But now that you have side control, we're looking for something.
Good. Howling Gale onto Gabe Kochki. Will followed up with the Scout of the Week. There's the Wild Growth being used. Tim Selwood going very low. Gabe Kochki is one auto from death. Nobody dies, but it's Soul Point for IDS.
Oh, yes. IDS will be moving over to Soul Point here. It's going to be Cloud Soul this game. Not the most impactful, but it's going to be pretty useful if we're taking some things into consider. When you get movement speed in your ulti, that means Gemtop, he's going to move faster towards your bot lane. OG Roach gets not going to use that initially really too much, but if he combos correctly, I think there's a way where you can ult without and then while not moving yourself back too much. So then you can use that movement speed to stay in someone's face. XDM will love using this ulti since he can cast all of his abilities while moving.
Call the Force God has been issued. Zalp is going to be able to Arcane Shift, but he still gets caught by it. Nice job by Solus Beings. Flash forward from Tim Selwood. Flag and Drag goes in. Cataclysm in onto the other two members of IDS. He's going to get a lot of healing in from Gabe Kochki with the Wild Growth available. It's not available, I lied. Chaos Storm is going to be thrown down just to chunk out Gemtop a little bit. Nobody's able to pick up a kill on the side of the Wulfpack Mingos. Just so much disengaged power with the help of that Monsoon and the natural ability to kite from Zalp's Ezreal. XDM throwing out the Scout of the Week. Nick Swantek just trying to laser people down as best he can, but nobody's able to finish anyone off.
Yeah, and I gotta say, in terms of game plan, you can kind of see that coming out for IDS's Zalp's build. He built the Divine Sunder, which is pretty typical pre Season 12, he actually builds the Crown of the Shattered Queen just because that you see how effective it is so far with XTM and Nick Swantek. I have to wait every time I'm trying to say his name because I want to say Swaintek, but Swantek. Both of them having the Crown of the Shattered Queen, it's reducing damage they take by so much. We're looking for an
Second drag
engage.
knocks up second win, condemned into the wall. Scout of the Week's not enough to save him. Meanwhile, Zalp is getting chased down by Nick Swantek. He's just gonna get a solo kill, flash forward, and he will get him with the Q auto.
With that Q auto, and well done there. So that's 2 picks for themselves. And hopefully this may transfer into something a little bit more. There's not really an objective you can go for on the map. Baron's up, but I don't think we necessarily have the damage to really force something like that. Especially with OG Roach still alive and possibly in the area. We're looking actually moving around to this bot lane. See if we can maybe get a couple more picks off this. Nick Swaintek is actually pretty strong at this moment here as well. If we can get him a little bit stronger, we will love to see that.
Yeah, IDS, I think their game plan right now, it looks like they're trying to play for Soul. And the problem is, you know, Soul is great and all, but it's Cloud Soul, which again, it's movement speed, which is not bad. By no means is movement speed bad, but it's not like it's not pure combat stats. So you're not getting the extra shielding against burst from mountain, you're not getting the regen from ocean, and you're not getting pure damage from infernal, for example. Not to mention, of course, the power of the one that's still in the game, Hextech, right? Yes. Chemtech is disabled.
Chemtech is disabled for the numerous amount of bugs that is involved with its soul and its field.
And just how toxic it is, yes.
Yes.
Now Tim Selwood looking for an engage, but the Howling Gale disengage here comes in. The teleport being channeled here from Solus Being says the Call of the Forge God will be issued. Is he going to be able to get a knockup? It's a 2-man knockup, but Tim Selwood's not in range to follow up on it, so a little bit of unlucky plays for Wulfpack Mingos. The teleport and the Call of the Forge God issued, and nothing to come of it. Flag and drag forward, Tim Selwood just going to make some space for his team to pick up that tower.
Really good space for his team. Maybe in order to trade out a little bit of these towers here. It's pretty nice in that fact, but still have to be careful of all things here. One moment, sorry.
Ooh, the Shadow Flame for Nick Swantek as well. That item is so much better than I thought it would be when I first read about it. It's really good. In any case, now people are backing away. Dragon is coming up in the next minute or so, and if IDS pick it up, that is their Cloud Soul. The Wulfpack Mingos obviously don't want that to happen, but if they do, then it's not the end of the world. It's Cloud Soul, it's movement speed, it's not combat stats.
I think the biggest thing about the Cloud Soul is now it puts Elder Drake on as an objective to fight for.
Yeah. Exactly.
I think
but the problem with that is there's no advantage for having all the dragons against going for Elder. Now OG Roach though gonna get caught by the flag and drag. Are they gonna pick out this one up? The Monsoon to disengage.
That Monsoon plus Glacial Augment is also a pretty big thing because it stops re-engaging really well too.
Oh, Howling Gale gonna come across the Cataclysm, flashed away from the Call of the Forge God is gonna be thrown out, and Second Wind gonna be able to get out of that one, but ultimate for the flash. Tim Selwood is gonna be able to secure his team the control of the area, but OG Roach potentially looking for the steal, thinking it's worth it for his life, potentially.
We'll have
True Shot Barrage gonna come across, give him vision for a little bit. Teleport coming in from Gem Top, and OG Roach is in the pit. It's gonna get condemned into the wall. Flag and Drag comes forward. They're gonna do a ton of damage. It's secured by the Wulfpack Mingos. Now Chandler Clark gonna try and do what damage he can. XDM over the side. Tim Selwood flashing over the wall. OG Roach flashes, but slams his face into the wall. Gem Top is gonna get slowly cut out and have to back away here. Soulless Beings in the backside. They've already lost the Tim Selwood, and now Soulless Beings surrounded by members of the IDS. Nick Swantek throwing down the Chaos Storm, doing a ton of damage, but not enough to finish anyone off. Gabe Kochki with a bleeding red health bar. Howling Gale gonna come across. Scout of the Week is gonna stun him up. Zalp just doing a little bit of damage. The laser gonna come across him. He's gonna arcane shift forward. Chandler Clark blast cones over the wall. It's gonna be a dragon and a 1-for-1 in favor of the Wulfpack Mingos. Maybe more. Zalp going very low. Nick Swantek doesn't have the Chaos Storm, but that laser on cooldown won't be able to get too much more here, as Nick Swantek just fearless in the face of everyone. XDM gonna come around the side, looking for a Scout of the Week stun. He's got the movement speed. Nick Swantek gotta be careful. He's actually gonna get stunned here. There's the slow coming out. Nick Swantek trying to sidestep as best he can, but he's got so much movement speed from that Siphon Power and the Phase Rush, able to walk away.
Yeah. It will be I would say a win fight for the Wulfpack Mingos, but it's pretty rough to say. Chandler Clark got like damaged out pretty well. We talked about this earlier in draft phase. Chat was talking about it too. He just can't get in to do damage. Every time he steps up, he has to walk through Zalp's Q, Edstium's Dark Spheres plus Scatter the Weak. There's so many things he needs to try to walk through before he can really start popping off. On XVII Tech, he has the mobility in order to try to go around there, so he has a little bit of a pass, but he's not going to be enough alone in order to try to make something happen for his team. And this is where I was talking about earlier, Zout's build, where instead of going for Crown and Shadow Queen, he's going for a little bit more poke-heavy with the Divine Sunderer, and also finishing up his Murmana as well. So these Qs are hitting, and they're hitting hard. You have to be careful about that. And that means Chandler Clark's having a rough time actually trying to find his way into these fights. We'll have to see. Can he make a little bit of a difference? Can his engage really make it?
Here we go. Call of the Forge God has been issued. They're going to throw it down. It's only going to knock up the passive from Gemtop. So again, kind of just nullified. It's so hard for either of these teams to actually start a fight on their own terms.
Absolutely, so hard for them to try to find a way to start these fights. Really at the detriment for Mingos, honestly, because IDS does a good
in the lead here. Tim Selwood gonna jump forward with the flag and drag. The Howling Gale gonna come across and stop the damage dealers in their tracks, and that means Tim Selwood just gonna get taken down. He went in too far ahead of his team. XVII throws on the Chaos Storm. Zalp is gonna have to back away from this one. There's the laser coming out. Scatter the Weak doesn't quite connect onto the Wulfpack Mingos. Now Gemtop walking forward. He's a tanky mundo, but he's just gonna get kited out by glitter lances as well as the mobility coming out. Chandler Clark a little bit too close here. He's gonna have to back away. XDM looking for Scatter the Weak stun. Gabe Kochki throws on the glitter and try and make some space. It's going to be IDS starting up the Baron.
And yes, we'll start up the Baron here. TP is going to be used by Soulless Beings. See if they can maybe contest for that as a fight. Chandler Clark is in the area for it. We'll see
no
it.
Smite available for Tim Selwood because he's dead, so they're going to have to try and fight this one out. Exhaust into Chandler Clark immediately. He's going to get taken down. Shutdown goes over to XDM. Now Gabe Kochki on the run. Soulless Beings is just trying to be attacked by the Scatter. The Weak stun is good. And Gabe Kochki will go down. No! Nick Swan gets the kill. He comes around. Gabe Kochki's alive. No, he's not. He barely finally falls down. Soulless Beings is trying to do what he can, but he's not going to be able to get anything else. He's going to finally get focused down. Baron over to the side of ID Solaris.
Yes, good job, ID Solaris. The focusing did a really good job on that. Honestly, you guys made sure that's you saw. Okay, we're going to go for the Baron. We took down their jungler. He's not going to be here in time. Let's go ahead and go for the Baron. But as you saw other people position into and try to start a fight, because you knew that was the only way for really the Wulfpack Mingos to really get back into this is to start a fight and try to take out as many as they can, or even just better yet stop the Baron. You went in on that. You stopped up the Vayne. Biggest threat, honestly, down that you have to really worry about. Snake Swain or Swan Tech managed to get around in the area, but was only able to do so much damage. Tried chasing down a little bit for some of these kills. Killed second wind, but wasn't able to kill Etzium, and because of that, we saw them just continue forward with that Baron and finish off that kill.
Second Wind has Tim Selwood's number this game. He's just howling, killing him out of every single potential Flag and Dragon gauge he could look for. OG Roach getting chunked down by Nick Swantek early on, but Nick Swantek, again, has very low on mana, not able to get any recalls off. The Howling Gale gonna fly across here as the Cloud Dragon is alive, and it looks like the Wulfpack Mingos want to again deny that soul that Dragon Soul away. OG Roach gonna have to use the drag away. He's gonna look for the Call of the Fort God onto the jungler. Flag and Drag comes out. He's collateral damage. He's gonna get in there, but Tim Selwood doesn't do any damage on his own. Nobody else was there to follow him, and OG Roach wins the 1v1.
He is going to be winning out that 1v1, which is still very huge and objective.
Oh, XDM with a flank! Scatter the Weak stuns up Chandler Clark, but Unleashed Power has already been used. They won't be able to finish anyone off there. The laser's coming out. Meanwhile, Gemtop top lane has just sort of been quietly pushing that wave in, and now he's gonna get surrounded by the Wulfpack Mingos. Chandler Clark gonna try and get in some damage onto him. There's the the passive used. Condemn knocks him into the wall as the passive falls off. They're gonna try and just focus him down, but he takes a long time to die. Chandler Clark slowly but surely will finish him off, right? In either case, it's gonna take him a long time, and the inhib in the mid lane is gonna go down in favor of ID Solaris. And Gem Top alive! Jen looked like Genkatsuki gave up on the chase, just not worth their time, and they've already lost 2 inhibitors.
This is quite a scary sight to see. We're starting to get into, well, I would, normally I would say we're getting to the later parts of the game. We're still only around 2 to 3 items here, but nonetheless, it's still pretty huge when we're looking at either sides. 2 inhibs down top and mid for the Mingos, and they're really just having to make some of these plays, rushing straight for the Cloud Drake, trying to tie it up a little bit. They get ult series, which is pretty cool. You get that some of your engage tools back up sooner, but you still have this problem to try to overcome of we need to get a good engage off with some pretty good people who are dodging a lot of these engages. We haven't seen XVII really got picked off yet. We saw OG Roach got sort of picked off, but instead he just turned it around and just 1v1'd Tim Selwood on that front, as well as Zal. He's just dishing out so much damage, and he still has the safety of the Arcane Shift to get out of there. He's doing a really good job at playing towards this team's strength, which is don't let them get any, just don't walk into their attack range. Make it so they have to walk in and take this thorny bush of a path in order to try to get to us.
I think the way that you like turn this around as the the Wulfpack Mingos, you have to sort of force disengage tools to be used on your first form of engage, and then like stagger the next part out afterwards. You got, and by that I mean use Tim Selwood, bait out things like the Arcane Shift and the Monsoon, and then after those cooldowns are back up and they feel a little bit more secure, walk back up a little bit. That's when you call in the Forge God and try and force the engage after those tools have been used already. Meanwhile, they're just having to deal with super minions in 2 waves, so that means that they're gonna have to soon be dealing with super minions in 3 waves as a lot of damage goes down onto that inhibitor tower.
Yeah, it's looking very rough for this side, seeing that IDS now has a gold lead for themselves. Someone in chat, can Mingos pull this back? And I'll say, I've seen crazier games, but this is also a newer version of the Mingos at the moment here. Will still be waiting to see, can they do something with it.
Scatter the
Weak
does a fair chunk of damage on the Tim Selwood here. Tim Selwood a little bit too far ahead of his team at this point in the game. Howling Gale is just like constantly being a nuisance for the Wulfpack Mingos to have to deal with. Laser's just coming out from Nick Swantik, but he cannot get too close, and it's just so hard for either of these teams to really, like you're seeing even with this, it's so difficult for them to actually force down this tower because they don't have a way to engage either on the side of ID Solaris.
Yeah, but I think for ID Solaris, they don't really care too much about engaging. They just care about making sure that the other team can engage, and you're just poking down slowly and slowly, making them either recall, die, or some other just mispositioning move in order to where they can just really capitalize it and go for some of these objectives. Baron is spawning up here in about 4 more seconds. IDS is already positioned pretty well for it, seeing that there's only 2 members of the Wulfpack Mingos at the moment in the area. And if they want to start something, they can definitely take control of it a little bit. As for someone in chat asking who's casting, it is me, Retsuko Dragon, alongside of Agent A2.
Yeah, Control Ward dropped by Soulless Beings, so the Wulfpack Mingos know that this Baron is going down. OG Roach already chunked down to below half HP. That's not how you want to start this fight out. Call of the Forge God has been issued by Soulless Beings. It is going to knock up OG Roach, and the teleport is actually going to be interrupted here by Nick Swantek onto Gem Top, so it's a 4v4 on that side. But they're losing their inhib. They're losing their Nexus Towers. The Nexus Tower getting teleported in. He doesn't get the flag strike to knock him out. OG Roach now going in onto Tim Selwood as the teleport coming in from XTM trying to finish the game. Nick Swantek getting distracted by Gem Top, and nobody's stopping XTM! Someone get over there on the side of the Wulfpack Mingos. The Nexus Towers are down! XTM is just there. He flashed out of the weak. Unleashed power. Nick Swantik goes down. Gem Top and XTM just autoing in onto the Nexus. And it's going to be ID Solaris who take the 2-0 over the Wulfpack Mingos.
Oh, if you're a Mingos fan tonight, you are heartbroken to see that. That is amazing to see that we're starting off this season really, really interesting. The last season champions are immediately in their first game falling down 2-0. Granted, with a sub, but still, this is going to be saying something about this split. That some of these teams are going to be coming out, and they're coming out swinging so far. What do you think here, A2?
Oh yeah, I think that you can say what you want about this, but it was definitely an exciting series. 2-0 doesn't really tell the story of how close this series actually was, and I'm really looking forward to seeing a couple teams from the opposite conference next week.
Yeah, absolutely. Next week is going to be a quite interesting one. I believe our websites are updated right now, so let me actually see if I can.
The schedules are up.
Yeah.
It's not entirely accurate as to who has side selection, but I'll fix that. I
Okay.
promise.
All right. So we will see that we're going to be fixing that on the website here. Dot club, I believe, is it? Yeah, GetRect.club is the website where you can find all this information. We're going to be fixing up that schedule. But the other side, the Firelights, will be playing next week here, and it's going to be some pretty interesting games. I still haven't decided which team we're going to be streaming here on the channel, but hopefully it's going to be just of a banger as this one was. And, well, let's go ahead and close this one out here. I've been Let's Go Dragon, he's been A2, and, well, good night, everyone.
Yeah, thanks so much for watching, everybody. See you next week.